Evening to one and all. Respected President-elect R.V. Ashokan sir, HSD Dr. Anil Naik sir, our chairperson Dr. Archana Pati, today's guest speaker Dr. Vijania, and all the esteemed leaders of the Socio-Cultural Committee and other participants. This is indeed a very auspicious occasion for the Socio-Cultural Committee because this is the first program of our committee for the year 2023. In fact, I think all the other members of this committee have been there in the 2021 committee too. I am the only one who is new to this committee. That's what I think. And I've seen and I've heard about this committee. It was so active even during those COVID days. It was so active every week. I think there was a program, and being led by the dynamic person, Dr. Archana Pati. So we'll be looking forward to another active year in the coming months too. So there won't be any other appropriate topic to start the scientific sessions. I must say scientific sessions, because though it is non-academic or non-medical, we do conduct scientific sessions also. So it is something which has a very huge impact on our environment. So the net zero, the reduce, recycle, recover, and reuse principle. So as you all know, so these are the principles which will help any society to achieve a net zero carbon footprint. So we'll be hearing about it in detail from the experts itself. So once more, I welcome each and every one of you to this meeting. And I invite our dynamic chairperson, Dr. Archana Pati, to propose the welcome address. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Kavita Madam. Respected Ashokan Sir, National President-elect, Honorable Secretary General Dr. Anil Kumar Naik Sir, the Speaker for the day, Dr. Ramesh Vijania, my convener, Dr. Kavita Ravi Madam, moderator for the day, and the one who has taken efforts to organize today's session, Dr. Swati Popat, and all my team members of the Socio-Cultural Committee. Yes, as Madam said, that in 2021, this Cultural Committee had started this Beyond Medicine series, because at that point in time, it was all about, trying to have something new during the COVID times. And so we came up with something which was non-scientific. People were hammered with everything about COVID. And just to find some reprieve, we started with this Beyond Medicine series, where we spoke about anything which was not medical. And this is how the name Beyond Medicine series came up. And from July 2021 till December 2021, we did lots of programs at that point in time. May it be traditional Garba workshop, Rangoli workshop. We took up Diwali, musical program. We took up soap making workshop. We took gardening workshop. We took photography workshop. So it was that point in time, it was amazing. And that's why the moment this committee convened in July 2023, our first talk was to restart and bring out the season 2 of a Beyond Medicine series. And I'm happy that with Dr. Swati Madam's efforts, we are here with our first session under the Beyond Medicine series. And this will be a fortnightly online session, with first session being net zero. As Kavita Madam just said, it is reduce, reuse, recycle, and recover to reduce our carbon footprints and to improve the environment, as whatever little we can do about it. Our next session is going to be on 9th of September, which is on emotional intelligence. And I'm sure we'll be able to get something good out of that also. Just to brief Ashokan Sir and Nayak Sir, since you are here, in September, we are doing a Hasya Kavi Sammelan. In October, we are doing, Pan-India skit, maybe a friendly competition, not an actual competition, but an event, again, which will be online. And in mid-October, we want to launch our IMA Sargam, which we had done the singing competition Pan-India, which we had launched in 2021 and which was majorly appreciated Pan-India. So we would like to launch that in mid-October, with the finale coming towards NatCon. So this is our plans in pipeline, and with this, a very warm welcome to everyone who has joined today for today's session, and thank you so much for joining. Over to you, Kavita madam.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Archana ma'am. Okay. So we are indeed honored to have with us our National President-elect, the most revered person in IMA, Dr. R.V. Ashokan, the pride of IMA Kerala, and of course, the pride of the whole national IMA. Sir, over to you, sir, for your address.
Thank you, Dr. Kavita Ravi. Thank you so much. Beloved Chairperson, Dr. Archana Pate, Co-Chairperson, Dr. Kalpita Dave, and the coordinator of today's program, Dr. Swati, and the active core members of the Socio-Cultural Committee, Dr. Anita, Ravi Krishna, Kushmalata, Dr. Ravish, Dr. Trapti, Dr. Ujjala, Dr. Swapnanjali, Dr. Kavita, and my greetings to our guest, Dr. Ramesh Vijania. And I am so happy that that even the topic, the theme captures beyond medicine, captures whatever you wanted to say in those two words. You have expressed yourself what it is, and it's so difficult to put it in 2 or 3 words. But within that 2 words, you have said that this is an outreach program. This is an outreach program, and a comprehensive 360 degrees issues could be discussed here. And today's topic of recycling is something which is quite close to my heart also. Trying to reduce waste, and as a matter of fact, the venue of our All India Medical Conference this year, the Kovalam town or the Kovalam village, whatever you say, the Kovalam Panchayat, is a zero waste area. The entire waste of Kovalam village is completely recycled, and it's a zero waste area by the concept of reduce and other things. I'm so happy that you are able to really work in such a the horizons that you are pushing, crossing all barriers. I'm so happy that this is able to done. That shows the intensity and the quality of leadership given by Dr. Archana, Dr. Kavita, and all other very active members. So keep pushing the frontiers, and all the best to the team for much more activities in the coming year also. Thank you so much for inviting me to this meeting.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for those words of encouragement. Now, let me invite our HSD, Dr. Anil Naik, sir. So it's indeed our pride and privilege to have the Honorary Secretary General, Dr. Anil Naik, with us for our first session for the year 2023. And I take this opportunity to thank him for the unconditional support he has been giving us to launch this program. Sir, over to you for your address.
Thank you, madam. Thank you for inviting me in your Socio-Cultural Committee's second session of Beyond Medicine series. And the topic is Net Zero. Reduce, reuse, recycle, and recover. Our President-elect, Dr. Ashokan, our Finance Secretary, Dr. Shirish Bali, Chairman of this National Social Cultural Committee, Dr. Archana Pate, Dr. Kavita Ravi, Dr. Swati Popat, all the office bearers and committee members of this committee. As you know, we have just passed through. Your seminar is good, topic is good, And Dr. Bajrania is a very good speaker on this issue. So I congratulate all the members and chairman of the socio-cultural committee. Thanks for inviting me. And sorry for disturbance due to my traveling. I feel sorry. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. We'll start sensitizing all the members as well as from different states so that the next webinar will be full house, sir.
Ma'am, I think you addressed me, right?
Yes, sir.
Dr.
Yes,
Walia.
sir.
Hi.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Thank
Yeah,
you so much, ma'am. It's a really innovative thing what I'm hearing and seeing. And I would like to thank Dr. Archana Patel, Dr. Kavita, and Dr. Swati for this new innovative thing. And I wish them all the best. And I would like to hear you guys more than talking. So let's hear you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So today's program has been organized by Dr. Swati Popat, and she is the mastermind behind the entire program. So over to you, Dr. Swati, for taking over as well as introducing our speaker.
Thank you, Kavita madam. Thank you, Archana madam. And good evening to one and all. Net zero refers to the balance between the amount of greenhouse gas that is produced and the amount that is removal from the atmosphere. So when what we add is no more than what we take away, we reach net zero. How do we achieve this goal? It can be achieved through combination of emission reduction and emission removal. From countries and companies to individuals, tackling climate change is at the top of the agenda. Action taken to limit emissions in the next decade will be critical for the future. Hence, every country, sector, industry, and each one of us must work together to find ways to cut the carbon we produce. To further enlighten us on the subject, we have none other than an international faculty, Dr. Ramesh Bajania. He is a pediatrician from Gujarat, Dhangadra. Dr. Ramesh Bajania is international personality, and he is an international diplomat in environment and child health, member of Planning Area Committee, Environment, Health, and Climate Change internationally. He was an organizer for international, national, and state conferences too. He has arranged so many seminars, webinars, and was a faculty in many national and international events. He was a chairperson of environmental group of Pediatric Association. And over to Dr. Ramesh Bajania for further deliberation. Thank you. Over to Dr. Ramesh, sir.
Yes. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
So first of all, let me thank Indian Medical Association, Dr. Agarwal sir, President sir, HSG, Dr. Anil Nayak sir, Dr. Kavita, Dr. Archana, Dr. Swati. I must congratulate for taking this initiative. You can say that it is a Beyond Medicine series also, but I always feel that environment is having a very important role in all the causes, all the diseases, as far as our medicine branch is concerned. So I won't put this is something beyond medicine, because there is one like green page. If you elicit a history, you take an example of suppose tonsillitis, then if you take a history, that is a green environment page, then there has been some relation with environment, like a father is smoking and child is having recurrent tonsillitis. And with this era of diminishing infectious diseases and NCDs taking over, almost if you go to the root, then everywhere you will find that environmental issues are at one or other places. So now you cannot ignore it, and you cannot term it as a PSM topic. When we formed environment and child health group, under our central IIP, you would be happy to know that our Dr. Parmesh sir, he created this group 1 year before. Then American Academy of Pediatrics created the same group in USA. So there are so many subspecialty chapters in a central IIP, and the passionate people like Dr. Parmesh sir, Dr. Ramesh Kumar, etc. They started this group, and now it is on the verge of becoming a full-fledged chapter, and the whole world is taking notice of environmental issues due to obvious reasons. So I'm a pediatrician. I'm not an expert, but yes, I'm passionate about these issues. So let us sensitize our members. And I was told by Swati ma'am so that to mix English and Hindi. So we'll definitely use the language which people can understand and take home, because these are the measures which are very much applicable. So coming to our session, net zero. Net zero is a very interesting word, which few years before people hardly they knew this thing. It simply means we have greenhouse gas emissions. हम लोग सब जानते हैं कि ग्रीन हाउस गैस एमिशंस हमारे प्लेनेट में है. अभी उसको जीरो तो एग्जैक्टली नहीं ले जा सकते, लेकिन एज क्लोज टू एज जीरो. So cutting greenhouse gas emissions to as close to as zero as possible with any remaining emissions absorbed from the atmosphere by oceans and forests. कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड से लेके जितना भी emissions होता है, जाता कहाँ पे ultimately who removes it? Oceans and forest. तो जितना बचता है उसको ओशन और फॉरेस्ट रिमूव करे और बाकी का जो है उसको हम जीरो पे ले जाए. That ideal situation would be net zero. Now, it refers to carbon neutrality or achieving net zero carbon dioxide emission by balancing carbon emissions with its removal from the atmosphere. As can be seen daily, these scenes are common, where industries, etc., they emit loads of tons of carbon dioxide. And our plea would be, this would be the Ram Rajya, that we balance the carbon emission. So I hope it is very simple. So at the end, it should be zero. When we entered, when we came on this planet, and when we leave this planet, we should not spoil this planet. Our carbon footprint should be zero. When we walk on the road, there is a footprint. Similarly, when we live on this planet, we leave our carbon footprint. कार्बन साइकिल हमने स्कूल में काफी बचपन में पढ़ा है, लेकिन आपको वो दिनों में फिर से once again I am taking you. Carbon dioxide comes from various sources. The most important source, what we see daily, is transportation and factory emissions. Now, some organic carbon is already there in the atmosphere also, and some comes from the root respiration of the trees. Animals also play a significant role in releasing carbon dioxide. Now, nature has devised such a mechanism that with the help of sunlight, carbon dioxide is utilized by the trees. I mean, this is the base of indoor air purifier plants, where they take extra carbon, it is embedded into the tissues, and then it is converted into organic carbon. Now, this carbon goes below the ground and it is converted into fossil fuel, and which again fossil fuel is diesel, petrol, kerosene, etc., and which we again use here in our day-to-day combustion. To see same thing from another angle, the greenery, it absorbs in the presence of sunlight by photosynthesis, and that goes into the ground and fossil fuel is formed. And some part is absorbed by the ocean with the help of phytoplankton, because they are responsible for carbon exchange. Now we all have heard this word in last particularly 8-10 years very frequently, greenhouse effect. But till now, we saw greenhouses whenever we used to go to abroad, especially in Europe, there were greenhouses. So what does it actually do? Carbon dioxide, nitrogen oxide, these are the gases that trap the energy which is released from the sun. And because they trap this energy, the layer becomes hot. And this is how the layer around this planet becomes hotter and we feel the heat. So we have to offset. We have to keep this delicate balance 0-0. Left side, there is an increase in emission, increase in carbon dioxide. Our plea should be to reduce it by various means, which we'll see later on. Ultimate goal would be to keep it 0. Now, why net 0 is important? Because science has shown clearly that in order to avoid the worst impacts of climate change and preserve a livable planet, mind well, livable planet, global temperature should not increase more than 1.5 degree above pre-industrial level. Now, if we remember our history, then from 1800 to 1850, industries came into being because the invention of wheel, once wheel was invented, then industry came into the picture. So before 1800, 1800 की सदी से पहले आप देखो तो जो टेम्परेचर था that was manageable. But at last 120 years में, whatever we have done to this planet is something ridiculous. 50% of the wildlife we have destroyed, and 80% of the floras and faunas जो भगवान ने इस सृष्टि पे बनाया था, that we have destroyed. And just imagine in last 120 years. So if it exceeds, scientists, they believe that if it exceeds 1.5 degree, then what it was during pre-industrial level, then this earth will not be livable. And the warning sign is currently the earth is already about 1.1 degree warmer than it was in the late 1800. Just imagine. So to keep global warming to no more than 1.5 degree, in Paris, all countries met and it was agreed upon that by 2050, the emission should be cut down to 0. And by 2030, it should be cut down by 45%. So as I said, this is our carbon footprint. This is the amount of carbon dioxide emission which we will leave once we die. So we should be careful that what we leave behind us. Now, most emissions come just from few countries. If you look at top 7 countries, then obviously United States always leads, followed by China, India, European Union, Indonesia, Russian Federation, and Brazil. This was according to 2020. And group of 20, they are responsible for almost 75% of global greenhouse gas emission. So greenhouse gas is basically any gaseous compound in the atmosphere that is capable of absorbing infrared radiation, thereby trapping it and holding heat in the atmosphere. Now, ऐसा नहीं था कि ग्रीन हाउस गैस हमने ही क्रिएट किया. ग्रीन हाउस गैस तो पहले से था.
584462.
It was in nature already. It was existent, but then anthropogenic factors, that is human being, man-made. So in natural sources, carbon dioxide used to come from respiration, natural fires, because volcano activities, they used to take place even before human being came into existence. But the situation worsened once a man started doing all sorts of activities, especially during post-industrial eras. I mean, these are the usual scenes.
584462.
So nitrous oxide and methane, they are important greenhouse gas and they are present in the nature. Methane is specially emitted by natural wetlands and livestock. In Sweden and Denmark, the livestock industry is very much, I mean, it plays an important role in economy. And there, the greenhouse gas emission is more in particularly those areas where livestock are bred. Then it comes from decomposition of dead plants and animals. And the other one is nitrogen oxide. We know that nitrogen cycle, I mean, since our birth, it starts and ends with our death. So it is a circulation among the atmosphere, plants and animals, microorganisms. So the 45% reduction in global greenhouse gas emissions needed by 2030 from 2010 levels. अगर 1.5 डिग्री से ऊपर नहीं जाने देना प्लेनेट का टेम्परेचर, तो 2030 तक इतना कम करना पड़ेगा. But unfortunately, the way in which things are going on, it is believed that increase in global greenhouse gas emissions projected by 2030 is 10% higher than what it was in 2010. So the situation is very alarming. Here comes our duty as an intellectual, as a custodian of human health, that we also, apart from our routine activities in clinic, we should also, as a responsible citizen, should play important role in spreading this message. The temperature was mapped from 1850 to 2021. And if you look at carefully, then till 50s, 60s, 70s, it was okay. But then from 1920, I mean, gradually you can see that it has become red and red. So this is the situation, what it was in 1850s. This is definitely alarming. The picture itself says so many things. This flood last month only we witnessed, and nobody imagined that the water of Yamuna will flow through important areas of Delhi. This again was witnessed in last fortnight only in Himachal Pradesh, massive landslides. This is at same time happening in Africa. The important thing, this is very peculiar to this era, that all these disasters, they are taking place at a given point of time, same time, all over the planet. तो कहीं पे volcano eruption है, कहीं पे सूखा है drought, कहीं पे floods है, कहीं पे landslides है, कहीं पे hurricane है, कहीं पे cyclones है. So everything taking place at a same time. If we read newspapers, recently it was found by Down to Earth magazine study that if you read first page of newspaper, then 30% of the news are related something or some way or other way to the environment, be it Greece, be it Portugal, be it wildfire of Greece. And this intergovernmental panel on climate change representative had a very wonderful statement. Once Africa was burning, then Europe was not affected few years back. It is, if we know, then since last few years only, Europe has been burning. So she said that is Africa going to die because of climate change, and Europe will be watching that, just watching and not doing anything. Now Europe realized, because 4 or 5 days back, I was reading that Turkey was 49.5 degree. 1 week before, Iran airport, it recorded 178 degree temperature. I mean, that is something a person cannot survive. This is the highest recorded temperature. Of course, it is not gross temperature like what we say in Fahrenheit, and it is based on so many factors, but it is certainly not livable. Again, Hawaii Island, it was a beautiful resource like our Goa. And just imagine, whole resorts, whole town was destroyed, engulfed, and by wildfire. A person would imagine that it can be destroyed by tsunami, but here it was destroyed by wildfire. I mean, these are all recent images. This was in August 2000, same month. Yesterday only, I saw this news that 10,000 emperor penguin chicks, they have estimated to have been died. Just imagine 10,000 emperor penguin chicks, bacche, because sea ice where the chicks were being raised broke up before they had fully developed feathers. उससे पहले ही वो ice टूटा. Just imagine 10,000 is not a small number. So the effect of greenhouse gases on health of children as well as human beings, it is very much apparent. अभी तक हम क्या कर रहे हैं? एडप्टेशन एडप्टेशन एडप्टेशन. गर्मी है तो एसी लगा रहे हैं. कोई ऐसी चीज नहीं कर रहे कि जिससे परमानेंट सॉल्यूशन हो. परमानेंट सॉल्यूशन इज मिटिगेशन. नाउ टू गिव यू ब्रीफ, थोड़ा एवरीवन नोज, बट व्हिच आर द इफेक्ट्स of climate change. Climate change could be like I showed you photographs, extreme weather, rapid and delayed or altered rainfall or raised temperature or sea level rise or acidification of oceans. It can have direct effects as well as indirect effects. Direct effects, whenever we get very extreme heat, then we get patients of sunstroke. Then due to precipitation and floods, people get drowned. droughts and wildfires. These are all direct effects. And in indirect effects, the ecosystem gets disrupted. The vector pattern changes. जो 30-40 साल से प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं उनको मालूम है कि पहले मलेरिया हुआ करता था, अभी डेंगू, चिकनगुनिया, जो चिकनगुनिया वगैरह पहले देखा भी नहीं था एक्सेप्ट a few belts of India. Then changing vector pattern, air pollution and aero allergens. हमारे पास अभी रेस्पिरेटरी पेशेंट्स जो आते हैं वो पॉल्यूशन और एलर्जी रिलेटेड ज्यादा होते हैं एज कंपेयर टू इन्फेक्शन. Now what does it produce? It increases the risk of disease due to food insecurity and malnutrition. Educational attainment में problem होता है. Forced migration. Last year it was said that 3 crores plus people they migrated from one place to another. अभी जहाँ पे जाएंगे वहाँ पे भी civil crisis, civil war जैसी situation create होगी. Even in utero exposure, there is a one beautiful presentation of environmental pollution on fetus. So even fetus is not spared. And health effects, as we know, direct mortality and morbidity from extreme weather events. And these are all diseases which every one of us know being a medical person: vector-borne, water and food-borne, respiratory, HFMD even. Mental health everywhere, be it an earthquake, be it a hurricane, it leaves permanent post-traumatic stress disorder and so many other problems like anxiety, depression, etc. Plus other health effects. Now this changing climate, as I said, it mainly we are getting more and more indoor and outdoor pollution. You must have seen Instagram, अभी आप खोलो तो air purifier plants ये वो, अभी 20 रुपए में भी कोई जो लेने वाला नहीं था मनी प्लांट, अभी उसके 300-400 रुपए अभी हो गए, because there are increased respiratory problems. Brain is affected, cardiovascular system is affected, even obesity, type 2 diabetes have a relation with all these things. Now it is believed that across sub-Saharan region, the malaria transmission the mortality can increase by 10 to 15%. As I said, there is a change of geographical distribution in dengue. Prevalence of E. coli because diarrheal disease and parasitic infection. Imagine the situation when 10-15 years back, we always had a pity for Bangladesh because every time Bangladesh was submerged with the flood and they used to have such infection. Even our rotavirus vaccine was invented in Dhaka because of natural tendency for diarrheal disease. But now it is not restricted there. Every country is experiencing flooding, and then once flooding is over, then prevalence of bacterial infection. Both low rainfall and high precipitation is associated with the increase in diarrheal disease. It is believed that exposure to air pollution during pregnancy increases risk of LBW IUGR babies later presenting with respiratory problems. This is very important. And some studies suggest that higher average temperature increase the prevalence of birth defects also. There are also indications for a connection between extreme temperatures and miscarriages and stillbirth. Just imagine, so it affects everywhere. In fact, allergy cases are also increasing. High temperature, prolonged high carbon dioxide concentration. What does it do? It increases pollen exposure and associated allergic diseases. In fact, warmer and more humid weather produces insect and contact allergies also. Mental health, as I said. So how can net zero be achieved? Transitioning to a net zero world is one of the greatest challenges humankind has faced, because ये हमारी कोई राष्ट्र की responsibility नहीं है. Each and everyone has to change, and it requires complete transformation. हम जिस तरीके से अभी जो प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं, जो कंज्यूम कर रहे हैं, और जो भी जिस हिसाब से डिस्पोज कर रहे हैं, उसका बिल्कुल कंप्लीट ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन जरूरी है. Then and then it will be achieved. The energy sector is a source of around 3/4 of greenhouse gas emissions today. हर एक जगह पे we need energy. Like US है तो उसको colder climates में heaters चाहिए, hot climate में air condition चाहिए, light चाहिए, to run healthcare facilities. You need all the sorts of energy. And where does it come from? It is coming from coal, gas, and oil-powered power stations. So the renewable energy is the answer. So we have to reduce the source, first of all. सबसे पहले हमें ये पूछना है अपने आप को कि वेदर आई नीड इट। अभी मॉल में गए, कैजुअली 2 पैंट खरीद लिया, 2 टी-शर्ट खरीद लिया, बट यू आस्क योरसेल्फ, रियली यू नीड इट? हम लोग, मी एंड माय फ्रेंड had gone to Denmark in 2019 December. We met one professor. He was English professor, and I was really impressed with him. He said that I have never bought new clothes in my life. In fact, he brought 2 trousers because he felt that it is going to be very chilly next day. So he presented us 2 trousers, and they will also second hand. So this should be basically the spirit. Second, reuse. Whatever you use, you reuse. You are not Karan Johar or Amitabh Bachchan. Every time you have to wear new things. And unfortunately, our celebrity also, film industries, they are also not setting good examples. अभी छोटे बच्चे को क्या बनना है, तो शाहरुख खान बनना है, घर किसके जैसा बना है, मुकेश अंबानी जैसा बना है. So we need paradigm shift of our definition of hero. Then third is recycle or compost. You recycle it. We have been doing, I mean, we Indians, we have been doing since ages. कि शर्ट है तो शर्ट में से पोछा बना, तो this is nothing but recycle. So you use it till end and recover energy from the waste, and then safe disposal of the waste. Now, is there a global effort to reach net zero? सब बात कर रहे हैं अभी. Now, actually, लोग efforts कर रहे हैं. Yes, 70 countries, cities, businesses, and other institutions, they are pledging to get net zero emissions. जो biggest polluters है, China, US, they have also set a target of net zero, covering about 76% of the global emissions. 3,000 businesses and financial institutions are also involved. So many cities, they have started taking interest. Now, race to zero. If you search, then you will find the word race to zero. So one must join this race, because you will get the quality tools and knowledge. You will be supported in setting, implementing, and achieving your targets if you wish. You will have an access to powerful communication material, right? So race to zero, just try to search and join. Now, as an individual, how can we contribute to net zero? I think this is very important. We must, as a IMA, we must bring out different pamphlets. I have brought few pamphlets which I'll share with Dr. Swati Ben. Under the banner of IMA, we can publish it, because nowadays with the advent of social media, we can easily share such knowledge everywhere. We don't have to give them hard copy. So each and every person can try in bringing down carbon dioxide level. I think we'll take some time on this slide, because this is the most important slide. UNO has set few measures that can be taken by individuals. Remember, these are all achievable. These are all doable measures. Like donate what you don't use. भगवान को आपको देना है, ठीक है, लेकिन हम जब कब्बर्ड अलमारी साफ करने बैठते हैं, तो ये है तो ये रखो, कभी काम आएगा, ये तो कभी काम आएगा. दिस इज अवर इंडियन मेंटालिटी. कभी कोई चीज कभी काम नहीं आने वाली है, बट वी डोंट गेट रीड ऑफ ऑल सज्जन. इसके बदले बेटर है कि 50 टी-शर्ट से तो पहनते 10 है, तो 40 डोनेट कर दो, बिकॉज यू आर नॉट यूजिंग इट. सो अपने शास्त्रों में भी लिखा है सेवा का कितना बड़ा, सेवा और दान का कितना इंपॉर्टेंस अपने शास्त्रों में. उस वक्त उनको तो कोई एनवायरमेंट इश्यूज का साइंटिफिक नॉलेज नहीं था, बट जस्ट इमेजिन व्हाट वाज द कांसेप्ट. देन वेस्ट लेस फूड. अभी खाना खाने बैठो तो अवर पेरेंट्स यूज्ड टू से कि जितना चाहिए उतना खाओ. इन सो मेनी रिलीजन्स वो बाद में थाली धो के पी जाते हैं. आई मीन देयर इज अ ग्रेट, आई मीन वी हैव हेरिटेज फॉर द कंजर्वेशन ऑफ environment after all these habits. Then support local farmers. आप एप्पल लेने जाओ, गुजरात में एप्पल होते नहीं, शिमला से एप्पल आते हैं. तो रादर देन buying and eating apple, it is better to eat mango which is produced locally. In that way you are supporting local farmers. plus शिमला से जो एप्पल आते हैं वो ट्रक्स में आएंगे, वो एमिशन बंद होगा. आप नहीं खाओगे तो वो शिमला से एप्पल इधर आएंगे ही नहीं, और मैंगो इधर से उधर जाएगी भी नहीं. Get yourselves and your family vaccinated. This is very important to reduce disease burden. Help educate children in your community. आपके घर में कोई servant है, कोई काम करने आता है, you take interest that that child in their family is going to school. Empower women and girls around you and promote equality. लड़की लड़का एक समान. अभी जो भी आपके सराउंडिंग में 2-3 बच्चे ऐसे हैं कि they are less privileged, you can extend time to teach them, right? They don't have to go formally for the education to the school. Then avoid wasting water. Before using water, ask yourself that how much you need it. जैसे बाथरूम में शावर में गए तो I mean we are not like heroines that we stay there for hours. I mean you should use only the amount of water which is absolutely necessary. That is why it is said कि एक बाल्टी पानी भी काफी हो जाता है, right? Because in Africa people they take bath with 2 or 3 tumblers. Then use energy efficient appliances. Before buying appliances, just see that it is energy efficient. Create job opportunities. अगर आपके पास कहीं पे भी, if you are running a hospital, कहीं पे भी जरूरत है, तो एक job और create करो so that one family will be supported. This is how you support the marginalized and disadvantaged. Use public transport or cycles. This is the future. Like I'm not boasting of, but sharing my personal example. Since last 2 years, I've been cycling 24/7. In fact, I've got my 25-bedded hospital also. So night ko call aaya to bhi main raat ko cycle leke jata hu. I started on a lighter note, but then I realized that it has a tremendous health advantage. My diastolic blood pressure is never more than 70 now. So I mean, from my this thing example, 4 or 5 other doctors also they started cycling. And religiously, I'm doing it 24/7. No use of fossil fuel in my city. So whenever I go from my place to Ahmedabad, then and then car. Otherwise, even at that time also, if possible, then public transport. If it is mandatory, then and then our own car. Then recycle, whatever way. I mean, just recycle it. Why unnecessary buying new things every time? Avoid using plastic. Plant trees. Hopefully now there is a lot of awareness. And act now to stop global warming. You must realize that Narendra Modi ji is doing wonderful job. Everywhere the leaders are doing whatever in their capacity, whatever they can do. But Earth planet has no boundaries. These boundaries were created by us. So each and every person who is living on this planet has a responsibility, moral responsibility to act. Like save electricity by turning off appliances when not in use. एक रूम में से दूसरे रूम में जाओ, लाइट चालू रहती है. Use sensors. Use energy-friendly light bulbs. Turn off the light and take advantage of the natural light wherever is possible. Think before you print. हर एक जगह पे सीधा प्रिंट आउट निकाल दिया. फ्लाइट की टिकट है तो सीधा प्रिंट आउट निकाल दिया. Hardly it is needed. Now everywhere they accept it. And recycle the paper you do use for printing. Actually just recycle paper or plastic or glass or aluminum or, as I said, take short showers and save water. Then responsible consumption and production. Don't overbuy. आप प्लान करके जाओ. You plan your meals. Use shopping list. हम लोग लेने जाते हैं मॉल में कुछ और लेके आते हैं कुछ, because we are so much distracted by the hoardings and attractive visuals. इसलिए you prepare a list. Freeze fresh products. अभी शाम को 2 चपाटी सब्जी थोड़ा बच गया. Either you give it to your servant or to the less privileged, or you can store it in freeze and next day you eat. So don't waste. Eat less meat, poultry and fish. Of course, this is a very debatable subject, but producing meat takes a lot more resources than producing plants. Just remember that thing. So that will definitely make you think twice. Whenever you go for a new home or you are renovating your house, you can go for environmentally friendly measures to make it net zero home. Like lighting can be made efficient. आप किसी के घर जाओ तो देखना आप बैठे हो इधर और लाइट वहां पे है, वो पढ़ रहा है इधर और लाइट उधर है, ठीक है? तो इट शुड बी एफिशिएंट लाइटिंग. देयर शुड बी गुड एयर filtration and ventilation. Roof insulation can be done to reduce the heat penetration. अब हमें कोई जकुआर का जो टैप दिखाएगा तो सीधा चालू करके कि एक्सेलेंट फ्लो आता है. एक्सेलेंट फ्लो की जरूरत नहीं है. आई ऑलवेज टेल देम कि बिल्कुल धीरा पानी आना चाहिए, ऐसा नल चाहिए, ठीक है? because you don't waste water like this. High performance windows should be installed because it can cut down the sunlight. Similarly, these are all the measures, heat pump से लेके everything which you can install. ये cooking जो range है वो इस induction type. So there are so many measures, and of course not to forget cycle. Donate what you don't use, clothes हो या books हो या furniture हो या food हो. अगर आप नया घर बना रहे हो तो पुराने घर में जितना पड़ा है आप दे दो, आपके रिश्तेदार को दे दो, जिसको भी आपको लगते, क्या कर लेके सब जाओगे. By donating you also contribute to other goals aiming towards no poverty, zero hunger and reduce inequality. These are all also SDGs goals. So by that way you are also contributing to that goal. Shop second hand, as I said, or trade clothes with colleagues, friends and family. Hostel में करते थे कि 3 दोस्त से एक दूसरे के कपड़े पहनते थे. I think that was a very eco-friendly measure, which I realize now. Similarly, you use refillable water bottles and coffee cups. At least we can do this thing. We can keep water bottles and coffee cups, mug made up of glass also in our car. Wherever we go, we can utilize those cups rather than asking for plastic this thing. Then use a reusable cloth bag. Similarly, you can keep reusable cloth bag with you. Like I always keep one in my cycle. So whenever even I buy vegetables personally, then I tell them that I don't need plastic this thing. So these are all doable measures, and which once you start doing it, then you will definitely realize that you could have done this thing much before. Similarly, transportation, you drive efficiently. Your vehicle should be maintained regularly. Service जब भी जरूरत पड़े इसका करा लो. गाड़ी चालू करने के बाद don't accelerate fast. Similarly, decelerate भी धीरे धीरे. स्पीड में धीरे ले जाओ, स्पीड कम धीरे करो. Avoid idling. घर में से wife is coming, बाहर आप गाड़ी चालू रख के बैठे हो, just switch off the engine. Once she comes, again you can start. Drive less when possible, as I said. Try carpooling or ride sharing. In Bombay Police, they have started this carpooling app. So if you are going from Ghatkopar to Mumbai Central and you go through that app, then you will find this company. Either say that 3 log ja rahe, so you can be accommodated. And this is very much doable. I think that each and every city should have their own carpooling app. And similarly, take public transportation like buses or trains instead of driving. I mean, this is the answer for future problems. As I said, cycle is so healthy because it's a clean energy. It is food powered. I mean, so your muscular strength also increases, your cardiac action is also increasing, right? And I mean, it's a bicycle trip also. Not only it is cost saving, but you are cycling and you are in connection with the nature, listening to the chirping of the birds. So it helps mentally also. Role of electric vehicle. Now it is coming on a big scale. There is no carbon dioxide emission. So definitely it improves air condition. Suppose in over a year, one electric car on the roads, then the carbon emission is equivalent to 4 return flights. So with the use of one electric car, you can offset such carbon footprint like that of 4 return flights. Though car manufacturing uses lots of energy, but over the period, there is a reduction in emission over the car's lifetime. So in a way, it is good. And moreover, reusing and recycling of car batteries also can be done. So that is also important. Like lead is a very important source coming from the batteries. As I said, changing purchasing and discarding habits reduce the stress generation in shopping. Reuse whenever possible, whatever, reusable cloth bag, reusable travel bags, etc. Repaired instead of throwing. कोई चीज फेंकने से पहले देखो कि वो रिपेयर हो सकती है कि नहीं. Donate so that it can be reused by someone else. आपको काम की नहीं है, लेकिन आप जिसको फेंक रहे हो उसके लिए कोई आदमी बेचारा तरस रहा है. Buy things that have minimal packing or has used environment friendly material. In fact, we at ECG, ECIG, we are going to write to the government that all these portals, Amazon, etc. आपको डिलीवरी दे, बाद में पैकिंग उसको ही वापस ले जाना है. He will dispose. Why the customer should dispose and recycle. This is again a poster which our IMA can use. These are all doable action like planting a tree, carpool, etc., recycling, compost, second-hand shopping. I mean, I already like paperless billing. This is now very common. You don't require paper. आप कहीं रेस्टोरेंट में जाओ तो उसको बोलो मेरे को चाहिए ही नहीं, अपने खाना खाया, क्या जरूरत है आपको बिल की. Diet may be similarly, half of the emission from food are from production of meat and animal, as I said. Reduce food waste by local and seasonal food. This is again a very good poster, like use fluorescent bulbs, turn off your computer at night. Many people, they keep it on. Like go vegetarian, use less tissues. I mean, do you really need one whole tissue? Conference में कहीं पे जाते हैं, 5 star में जाओ, so go in the toilet and people are using tissue paper left and right. Take the stairs, जहाँ पे भी जरूरत है तो staircase चढ़ो. Be creative and reuse. Take short showers and skip baths. बाथरूम में गए 2 मिनट में 3 मिनट में आप बाहर आ सकते हो, अंदर 1-1 घंटा रहने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है. Similarly, all this is again one poster. This is very important that you can influence the people. अभी आपका जो बिहेवियर है वो देख के 4 लोग भी सोचेंगे. लाइक एक अमेरिकन रेस्टोरेंट में था कि वहां पे जितने लोग खाना खाने हैं वहां पे अगर ऐसा डिस्कशन हो कि नॉन वेज नहीं खाना चाहिए, इससे एनवायरनमेंट को ये होता है, इट वाज फाउंड दैट 30% ऑफ द पीपल दे रिड्यूस्ड eating non-vegetarian food. Similarly, planting trees. Of course, now people are doing these activities. I mean, there are so many encouraging signs now. This is something which I wanted to bring to your notice, that if you are on Skype for 8 hours every day, then this internet usage could be equivalent to 113 kilometers of driving car or 332 liters of wasting water. Just imagine if it is 8 hours of Skype. This is very popular with youngsters, Netflix. So suppose if you watch 5 hours a day, Netflix, then it is equivalent to running a car for 266 kilometers or wasting 781 liters of water. Just imagine. So it is not so कि आप बैठे बैठे घर पे आराम से Netflix देख रहे हो and you are not damaging the environment. You are. Or what we are right now having, if 4 hours of Zoom meeting is equivalent to running car for 76 kilometers or wasting 223 liters of water. So everywhere you leave carbon footprint. So I mean, you think, always think that really this action is needed. So many people now, they are doing intersectoral cooperation. By intersectoral cooperation, people are doing this thing to sustain this planet. And carbon offsetting is the need of the hour, because as we know, there is no planet B. There is only one planet. So net zero, from bringing high emissions to energy generation to offsetting to bringing net zero, is the future. And 2 or 3 scientists, what did they say? James Hansen, the director of NASA's Institute for Safe Space Studies, what did he say? And the people who have spent careers thinking about climate change, its likely consequences, who have read the papers and reviewed the models and warned about this potential catastrophe for years, they are worried. Just imagine, they are worried. These scientists, because they know in the decades since the effects of climate change have loomed ominously in the distance, like the due date of an unpayable mortgage. But 35 years is enough time for a mortgage to come due, for children to grow up and have children of their own, and for the long feared consequences of warming world to become a reality. Just imagine that climate scientists, they are disturbed. Like Mike Fleming is a professor of wildland fire. What he said, that I used to think I am concerned for my children and grandchildren. Now it is to the point where I am concerned about myself, he said. This seemingly constant onslaught of extremes, unprecedented weather and climate events, yes, it is different. And what he said, that I am worried about what is going to happen next year, let alone the next 10 or 20 years. पहले हम बात करते थे कि फ्यूचर का क्या होगा, हमारी जनरेशन का क्या होगा, बाद में भी केम टू अ पॉइंट कि 10-20 साल के बाद होगा. But imagine a fire scientist, I mean a person like fire scientist Mike Fleming, he said that I am worried about what is going to happen next year, let alone next 10 or 20 years. So this is carbon footprint pledge. Again, I would request all of you that you just get this circulated amongst all IAPM members. These are all doable things. at the end of this session, let us all take this pledge that I'll walk and cycle more, I'll share and reuse things, I'll choose plant alternatives to meat sometimes, buying local products when I can, using both sides of the paper, calculating my own carbon footprint, not wasting area, tell family and friends how they should act. So this I have done because I have been doing this thing. So I'm humbled and happy that I'm already doing this thing. And I would request that each and every one of us should do this thing. Thank you so much. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity. I hope it inspires to at least one of us and we can propagate this message to the masses because we are in contact with our patients. We can display such posters in our OPD. We can print such type of stamps and can apply on our case paper also, because then I think people will be sensitized as compared to all these religious leaders, politicians. We as a doctors, we are the best influencers because we are connected with the family. They consider them as part of their family. That is why we are family doctors to them. So let us use our goodwill to the advantage. And finally, I was just wondering, and this thing, that in our Shastras, how environment friendly they were. Like Paryavaran Nashen Nashyanti Sarva Jantavah. पवन दुष्टता याति प्रकृति विकृता थे मतलब
Sir lost his connection.
It looks like. I think he'll join back.
Ashbhai?
Madam, एक बार will you try to call him?
Yes,
Swati
yes.
madam.
Yes, madam. Ramesh.
Maybe by mistake he has left. When he closed the window.
No, the window was not closed by him. This was closed by me when he was talking.
Oh,
But
okay.
that in no way can disconnect him because that has to be done at his end. I don't think he's disconnected himself. He's got disconnected.
Okay.
He'll rejoining, madam.
Yeah.
Rejoin.
Okay.
Yes,
Sir has joined.
yes.
Yes, Swati.
Yes. Thank you very much, Dr. Ramesh Bhai. Excellent talk, Dr. Ramesh Bajania ji. It was really an eye-opener for all of us. Friends, every year Earth is getting hotter. The warmest 4 years in last 22 years were 2015 to 2020. Global average temperature is already higher by 1.2 degrees centigrade than in the pre-industrial era. Though a degree doesn't sound like a lot, but in reality, it has already started showing negative impact like erratic weather pattern, heat waves, floods, storms, and rising sea level. This will go even worse if global warming continues. Thank you, Dr. Ramesh Bajania, for sensitizing us on this dreaded issue. Few of us are already sensitized and they want to ask few questions. Can we, sir?
Yes.
Even we are also using this cloth bag since last 20 years in each of our car also, or our vehicle, we are keeping it. Even we are also going by walkable distance is there for the hospital. So we are trying to Sir, we have one question that we are using this social media. We are joining for this webinar on the Zoom meeting. Does it cause any harm or does it have any impact on us?
Yeah, I showed you the amount of net usage. It's a wonderful this thing, which recently only I have been doing one certificate course on demystifying environmental data. And there I came to know about this particular slides. I mean, it is something which I never imagined, like the use of Skype, use of Netflix, because the youngsters, they are always either they are watching YouTube or we are having some meeting on Skype or Zoom. So like 5 hours of Netflix using, it produces 266 kilometers of as if you have driven the car, or as if you have wasted 781 liters of water. Similarly, Zoom meeting, suppose if we carry it out for 4 hours, then it is equivalent to 76 kilometers of riding the car, or wasting 223 liters of water. So online, the usage of internet, of course, it is separate, entirely a different session, but definitely it also plays a role in environmental pollution.
Okay. You have narrated many activities that individual can perform to enhance net zero. Will it help to have major impact on environment, sir?
Definitely, because see, each and every person has to act. When each and every person acts, then the combined cumulative effect would be massive. Definitely.
Okay.
In fact, it is the answer. It is the solution, because as a country, as a government, they can frame the policies, but the grassroots, if you act at a grassroots level, there and then, suppose in your city, Rajkot, 50% of the people, if they decide to commute on cycle, at least 50% of the people, once a day, out of 7 days, once. I mean, rest of the 50%, they have their own engagements. They have to go to factories. So let them travel. But even if 50% they use cycle, then just imagine what we witnessed during COVID era was that because nobody used to go out, then we saw in our social media so many scenes, starting from Europe to clear visibility of Himalayas, to clear visibility of Himachal Pradesh touristic places. And so it was evident. During our lifetime, only we witnessed such things.
Okay. And how to control medical waste and reuse it?
Of course, that comes in that resilient healthcare and climate change category, but there is no, alternative to it, because see, if healthcare industry was a nation, then we are 5th largest emitters of the carbon dioxide. 5th largest emitters if we were a country, because out of total healthcare carbon dioxide output emission, 4.4% total, out of total 4.4% is from healthcare emission. So we are in a very peculiar situation. On one hand, as a healthcare industry, we are overburdened, and we will be overburdened with the diseases arising out of climate change, like what we had seen in COVID-19 era, because at that time the health facilities, they went haywire and they were not prepared or the very well equipped with the staff to handle the COVID, be it testing, be it treating, or be it oxygen supply. And as a health facilities, we have our own contribution to emission. So there we'll have to act. So like if you enter a surgeon's room, then whatever smells you are having in surgeon's room related to anesthesia, related to sanitizers, etc., they are nothing but VOCs, volatile organic compounds. And they are very damaging. And I'm very sure that anesthetists, they definitely have this thing over the period, right? So this is ranging from waste disposal to utilization of energy, to transportation, to administration, anything which is used to run the healthcare facility, we have to be nature friendly.
Okay.
Sir, just, I would say probably, I cannot say it's a question. What I would want to say that through IMA Headquarters Socio-Cultural Committee, I mean, you've brought out a very good thing that probably awareness is what is extremely
Absolutely.
needed.
Absolutely.
So we would like to, start a pledge drive, okay, from IMA Headquarters.
Absolutely.
I mean, maybe people follow up on the pledge or they don't, but at least they become aware that these are the things that they can do to reduce the carbon emission and the carbon footprints. I would like to take your help in, forming that Google form as
Sure.
to, I will do this, what are the things that I feel I can do and what are the things I feel I cannot do. So, and I pledge to, work my best to reduce the carbon footprint. So, this is a Google,
Yeah.
a pledge that I feel we can launch to us.
Archana, you will be, I tell you, you take my words, each and every one wants to contribute, right? But they don't know how.
Exactly.
Recently, what Google Form you are talking about, Yagnesh Bhai and Swati Ben knows because they all both helped me a lot. We have come out with this questionnaire of 25 questions
Huh.
regarding the awareness of pediatricians, about these issues. Then most of the colleagues, they are interested in helping, but most of them, they don't know how.
Don't know. True.
So
So,
if they are given resources, because
yes.
we carried out environment, health and climate change workshop IP Medicon. This was our national event, club with the international conference. You you will be surprised to know that we had one of the highest strengths amongst all 27 workshops. One of the leading 5 to 6 workshop strength. I mean, we were 37 or 38 candidates. Just imagine in a workshop on environment health. So it is my conviction that people are interested, but they don't know how to help. So if we start on a experimental basis, then they will definitely. Suppose if you ask, I had one patient of tonsillitis, recurrent tonsillitis, each and everyone treated him left and right with antibiotics. I elicited the history that father was a smoker, right? Then I simply advised him that you don't smoke. And the child was relieved of tonsillitis, right? So this is basically I was dealing with a tonsillitis, which is a medical problem, but the root was in environment. So I am very strong. In fact, I am a very positive person. I have very strong hopes. Suppose each and everyone plants a tree, then within 10 years, every forest will be revived. But unfortunately, what happens that we are so blessed. भगवान ने हमें जो चीज दी है मुझे लगता है किसी को नहीं दिया. We are amongst the 0.1% of the luckiest population on this planet. But we don't think that it is our responsibility. Our problem is we don't want to do. It is not so that we don't want to do, but we think that it is not our responsibility. So to sensitize, IMA is such a big organization, and if we sensitize all the colleagues, then even one person acts, then also it would be tremendous job. And if we publicize these activities on social media platforms, then remaining 99% will be motivated. Why not? Because each and everybody is suffering now.
Absolutely, sir. So I'll take help of Swati madam and I'll contact you.
Sure.
And
Sure,
please
sure.
do help us in, formulating something which we can release wherein people can read it, understand it probably in a short, I mean, because nobody really reads long things. And yeah, so, and we can make some awareness also, and we can make them take some pledge also. And probably it's a start at creating awareness.
Absolutely. I would be very happy. Thank you
Great,
so
sir.
much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes, madam. Dr. Ramesh Bhai has told me to go for this pledge form. So I will be in contact with you and we will definitely work on it. Thank you.
Yes, Dr.
Any
Swati,
other
thank you
question?
so much for bringing in Dr. Ramesh because it's truly enlightening and inspiring. And I'm sure
Yes, madam.
everyone present here will take the pledge now itself that each one of us will become a catalyst for the positive change we want to witness in the world, in the whole world. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Since last 15 to 18 years, we are also doing a carpooling over here. It is a train in Rajkot also. So thank you very much, Dr. Ramesh Bhai, for excellent talk and expressing at the end. I would like to express my feelings of gratitude towards Dr. Ramesh Bhai for his simplified and explanatory seminar on this complicated issue. Thank you, sir. You have opened our eyes and sensitized us. We promise that we will try to contribute as much as possible at our level. I would also like to thank our IMA headquarters, Dr. Ketan Desai, sir, National President, Dr. Sharad Kumar Agarwal, Dr. R.V. Ashokan, National President-elect, Dr. Anil Kumar Nayak, Honorary Secretary General, IMA Headquarters, and Dr. Kshitij Bali, Honorary Finance Secretary. I would also like to share this gratitude and thanks for sparing this. Thanks for my socio-cultural committee chairperson, Dr. Archana Pate Madam, for showering a responsibility to organize this event at our level. Thank you, Madam. Thank you all the team members of Socio-Cultural Committee. Thank you all the audience and participants for excellent participation. Thank you, Madam. Thank you.
We have recorded today's session and we will be uploading. I couldn't go live on YouTube because I think we are activating the connection after a year or so. But I'll be uploading this program on our IMA Headquarter Cultural Committee YouTube channel, which goes with the name of IMA's Vibrant Doctors. So once it is uploaded, I will definitely send the link to everybody for anybody to come and view the video.
Yes, thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you,
Thank you.
Swati Madam. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
sir.
Thank you, sir, for sparing your time and time. Thank you, Madam. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you. Thank you, sir.